Hey guys, I want to give you just real quick voiceover, kind of what I was thinking in these slides for those that will help prepare. The whole point of this slide is that everybody wants to have the secret. What's the thing that I need to do in order to get friends and family? What's the one thing? And my big thing is that there is no secret. That there's a whole bunch of tools. That there's this has to be part of everything that we do. If you're looking for one activity or one special thing or one thing that you're going to do that's going to magically make you the great referral agent, it's not going to happen. You have to be on it. You have to be thinking about it. You have to do this consistently. And I really liked Connor's message for those that watched that in the last meeting. And some of the things that I wrote down that I really liked that he had to say is Connor picked up on what the letter is, right? The letter is written more, I want to be your real estate stockbroker. Connor's from Lexington Park, and he's changed that to, I want to be known for all things real estate. And I think that comes out of his mouth real easy, and it's obvious that he's saying it a lot. And so it's a general messaging that he's getting out to people. He's telling a ton of people about it. He's got that enormous 1,200 people in his Facebook, but everybody's got a huge sphere that they can get out to. Connor posts everything that comes from the company. So if it's something about Wall Street, Connor posts it. If it's something about roofing, Connor posts it. If it's something about a specific house, he posts it. And that's what gives him the image of being all things real estate. And that's what I noticed for the agents that consistently show up year after year, getting this done and even exceeding these goals and making some good money at it. They've got that. They obviously are reinforcing it with a specific marketing. So they've got an opportunity to send that letter out once a year, and they pop it into Facebook messages, and they put it into their listing presentation, and they make sure that it's blended into everything that they're doing. It's not, besides sending that letter out once a year, it's not an activity. It's a blend and a style of how they market, and they put it into everything that they do. I personally, for my own self, and I heard it from Connor, read people's Facebook pages. It'll tell you, hey, I'm moving, I'm thinking of this, I'm doing whatever. And that's not necessarily listening. That's the modern day listening, right? But people talk about this stuff all the time. I give the example of when I was in Alexandria, the front desk person was relocating to Alabama. I waited and I waited and I waited, and nobody asked her. And I finally went and right before she was ready to leave, hey, is anybody helping you? She was supposed to rent. She ended up going down there, and she bought a place on day one. I hooked her up with a rental agent down there. She bought a place. It was an outbound referral, and every one of those agents skipped right by it. Finally, once you actually have an opportunity to talk to somebody, you have to differentiate what your service is. You have to get them to not just write that name down and say, yeah, that's one of the 4 or 5 people that I'm going to call when I get there, or that's maybe one person that I'll interview for a listing. You have to talk to them about the service in a way that says, there's no reason for you to go any other place. I have the answer, period, end of story, stop. Obviously, as we go through, you want to reinforce this letter. I'd really make sure that people have taken this letter and customized it. That's one thing I would ask everybody in the room. Raise your hand. Did you do this? Do you have a custom letter with your picture on that? Did you change it? Does it have any words that you like? Do you have any successes? Most people haven't done this, and we all know that. They got to do this. This is crucial. They got to introduce the service and explain it to people. They got to know what's on this letter, because if you package this letter and our trifold together, and you actually know all those things that are there, and you can articulate that, when you hear that opportunity, you're going to nail it. Speaking of which, this is the trifold, so I bring a few copies of that. These are the things. We just had Memorial Day. We got 4th of July coming. We have Labor Day coming, but we have barbecues and family get-togethers and all kinds of social activities all summer long. Now is the best time in the world to be marketing this stuff, so that when you see people, they say, hey, I got your letter and I see your stuff, and people will know that you are all things real estate, and that now is the time to get that out. Connor had mentioned in his that he does it at Thanksgiving time. whenever it is that you're going to do it, you got to do it every year. It's not a one-time event. This is a great thing, and I think this could be used. This is a great, if you've sent the letter out a lot, you want to do something different, this is great because it talks about the fact that we actually won an award as a company for doing this, for our great service. I think this is a phenomenal thing to do. If you were to get an opportunity and you heard, hey, you know what, they're going to use you, that they've decided they are going to give it a try to use your person in California or Texas or wherever they're going, well, send them this picture, send this flyer, obviously drop your own information in, but send this in and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, I'm going to take great care of you, but I wanted you to know this is a real program and great service that you expect award-winning service from this. Just wanted to let you know this isn't a fly-by-night referral, because you got to differentiate that. I mean, anybody nowadays can click on the internet and find 1,000 people who claim to be number one in that area, and they might even be number one, but they might not be number one in the way that a relocation agent is. You know, a great agent may not want to work with somebody for a year. They may not want to give them a community tour and spend one of their weekends doing that. And a relocation agent understands, hey, you know what, I'm going to have to do my share of that, but I'm going to have a pipeline of people that's going to equal closings, and I understand the service I have to deliver, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm rambling on, but I want to make sure you understand what I was thinking. This differentiates our service and says that it's award-winning. This is huge, you know, so let's not miss this. This is the great new opportunity. You want to be all things real estate? You've got to post every single week, and probably more than once a week, of all of our new NM exclusive connections partners and what we do to help people beyond real estate. And it's just one more great thing. So every time that we get a new person in, if it's 123 Junk or Adelphia Exteriors, whoever it is, hey, this is a great service that we've put out for our clients, and you know, my goal is to be all things real estate. Please call me if you have any questions about anything related to real estate. Out the door. And if that message goes out on a regular basis, then we start mixing that in with the actual outbound service. People are going to call you, and that's the whole world that we're looking for. Friends and family blog, guys, very excited about this. I really wanted it to be done for today, but it's not. So we're going to look at sending the letter out as our activity. But once we get this blog to where it looks the way that it's supposed to, we're going to post all of the stories about anybody that we've sold a property to. We'll do it for friends and family. So, you know, I have a friend that bought a place on a beach house. It was wiped out by Hurricane Sandy. I have her story packaged and ready to go. The house as she bought it, what it looked like after Hurricane Sandy, what it looked like after we helped her get a builder to go back out there and rebuild the place. Her testimony about how her agent was out there waiting for the construction company and taking pictures, even though she had no commission to earn from it. We need more stories like that, and we'll mix that into this blog. Same thing with all the USAA and military customers that we help. All of that's going to go into this blog, and we've got to encourage people to say, you're going to get these. They're going to be on the branch Facebook page, shared, and when they're there, just click on it and do it. You got nothing to lose, and it'll say Century 21 New Millennium, help sell another house in New Jersey. That's not going to say anybody's name on there. Take credit for it. We talked about differentiating your service. What are the things that you need to do? Number one, you've got to, the best way, we want to talk about how do you actually convert these? When you put them into the system, how are you going to make sure it goes the way that you want it to? And you got to do some work. Let's stop and think about this. You have to do some work if you want to earn a commission. It can't just be, here's a name and I'd like 25% if something happens. I mean, that's the way that it works in the traditional world, and you're not going to be very successful. You're going to be just like anybody else. But if instead you're going to say, you know what, I'm part of this network, I want to explain this network to you, it's the best network in the world, I believe in it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview the agent on the other side first. And if I like them, then I'm going to refer them to you. That's going to make the lead so much different. Let's say you got a $200,000 buyer that you're putting out somewhere. Well, let's be honest about what our agents see when they see the $200,000 buyer coming in. Does every one of them think, oh, that's a home run? Or do they think, oh, maybe this is going to be a tough one? But if they got a call from the agent on the other side saying, this is my best friend and I really want to take special care of them, what does it do to elevate that lead? What is it? Is it a lead anymore, or is it a person? Have we identified it as something? So there's two things that are happening when you call the other agent on the other side. Number one, you're doing a service for your client. And number two, you're making your referral a real person that somebody on the other side is going to feel responsible to take care of. God forbid you don't like the person on the other side, ask for a reassignment. If you like the person on the other side, but your client doesn't like them, ask for a reassignment and tell your client, hey, you know what? You don't have to worry about that. That can be a really uncomfortable situation. If you don't feel like you're getting the service and you want something addressed, I'm going to do that for you. If you don't like the service and you just want to move on to somebody different, I'm going to take care of that for you. You're the customer. You're who's important here. You don't need to think about whether or not you have to go someplace else and start all over again. I take care of that for you. Personally connecting your referral to the to the assisting agent through an email. So you've put all the wheels in piece, the wheels in place. Write a quick email, send it to your client, copy the assisting agent who you've interviewed, and say, hey, I spoke to agent so and so. I think they're fantastic. I think you're going to feel they're great. They have all the things that we were looking for. They're experts in this area. They've been doing this for a while. Here's their number. You guys are going to get in touch. I just wanted to personally introduce you guys. That email, it creates, again, another personal connection and something that you can follow up on to make sure that it actually connected. And then finally, hey, you got to check in. And if we check in early, let's say 3 or 4 days after this connection, depending on the time frame of things, and say, how's it going? What's going on? Then all you're going to have to do is get a email from Relo at every 2 weeks. It's going to say, hey, you have a customer that's looking in California. Here's their name and number. All you got to do with that link literally has their number if you want to call them of your client, their email if you want to just say, hey, just checking in with you, how's things going. Doing that on a regular basis just keeps it all connected and lets you know where things are. So that's how we can differentiate our service. That's what I was thinking of with this slide. Next slide is just to point out that the broker-to-broker business is this green piece here. It's a huge part of the Cardis network. It's an enormous part of the referrals that we're getting. It's a huge opportunity to make money and to send referrals out to other places. And it's just this shows the importance of it in the network and the success of it in the network. And we're lucky to have a network that shares business like this. There just aren't that many networks that really, when push comes to shove, say, hey, you know what, I know I can send it here, I know I can send it there, but I'm going to value the network that I belong to. I get business from it. I want to put business back into it. This works. And I got to tell you, everybody's trying to build something like this, but nobody can. So, what does all that exposure of all that do for us? Even if you're not on the A team, Century 21 has a heck of a lot more signs. We get a heck of a lot more internet clicks. We have more market share and a greater presence. It reinforces the #1 brand, and it reinforces it gives us all valuable selling points that we can make when we're at the listing table. If you're one of the people that's not on the A team, but you have lots of listings, you're getting more clicks, and those buyers are going directly to you, and you're benefiting by this. If you're out and making a listing presentation and you can talk about all of the people that we get from brokers all around the country, that's something that your seller is going to want to hear and going to want to understand, particularly if they understand that 65% of the buyers traditionally come from a different market. Something to differentiate the network, right? Normally you have a referral, you send it over to another agent. Maybe you follow up on it, maybe you don't. There's no rules, there's no regulations, and if it works, great, and if it doesn't, well, okay, that's the way it works. Not so in this case. The customer is in the center of 2 relocation departments that are going to stay 100% on top of it. So you've got us who's sending a referral, You've got them, the company that's receiving the referral. That may or may not be a Century 21. It's going to be the best person available in that area so that we can take care of and focus on the customer. All done within the rules and the regulations of the broker network and broker services. So you just have a lot of people who are focused on taking care of this client and a whole different level of accountability than you would if you just clicked on the internet and hoped and prayed that the person on the other side was a good person to send it to. Real quick, just in terms of how to sell and talk to people, think about what clients want when you're working with them. What do they want when they're coming here? They want a great agent who's knowledgeable, who understands the market, understands the community, knows about the schools, could make recommendations on recreation, maybe what if there's kids and they play in different sports, that they have availability for that person when they're actually coming in, right? I'm going to only be here for 3 days. I need an agent who can be there for me. That agent is flexible, that they communicate really well, that they follow up really well, and that ultimately they make the transaction really easy, that it's efficient. It helps them do what they need to do with getting involved in their work in the new place, and just takes a little bit of pressure off them, and that they can make a smart purchase as part of that. Well, you have the ability to do that for somebody when they go somewhere else. And if they're going to leave it up to chance that they're going to click on the internet and go to that RE/MAX person who may or may not be available, may or may not feel accountable to this, may or may not know a wide area of places to give them community tours and everything, they could waste one of those 3 incredibly valuable days that they have, and they just can't afford to do that. That's why you created this service. That's why you have this service. And that's why you feel so good about delivering this service to your clients, whether they're moving here or moving anywhere else. This shows just who will be assisting the client. Just to reiterate that it looks just like us. Big things to accentuate: that they'll be experienced, that they're background checked. This is more and more important. Fraud is, we look at background checks and OFAC compliance, and we think of the military and the potential that we have for the terrible things that are going on in this country or around the world. But there's fraud, and it's a real potential. And when you are working with a background checked and OFAC compliant agent, you certainly take a lot of that fear out of working with somebody that you don't know. They're trained that they'll work with any price range, that they're accountable to the service expectations, and that you're never going to have somebody who's talking about the referral fees on the other side. That's part of the network and part of the rules, that they won't do that they understand that there's a referral fee, they're happy to pay it, and it's just part of how they do their business. So here's the conversion. This is the difference, right? Inside the network, a referral that we put inside of the network converts at 56%. A referral that we put outside of the network converts at 29%. So this just reinforces that we should absolutely put everything that we can into the network, because we have a responsibility to support the network, but because almost 2 to 1, it's going to have a better chance of closing when you put it into a system that has all of that accountability and the things that we talked about. Last thing is the policy and procedure reminder that all outbounds have to go through the business development department. If you happen to have a referral that you have to place outside of the network, you know somebody, you're related to somebody, the client's already wanting to work with somebody, you send that to relocation. Relocation's always going to push to put it in the network, but we place plenty of them outside of the network. It's fine. We'll work with the agents, but they have to go through business development. They can't place it there first. And unfortunately, if they do that, they can lose their commission. And specifically right in the policy and procedure manual on page 26, it says that you don't get paid if you don't go through the business development department. I think it's really important. We always have a few problems with this, guys, especially if you're in one of the branches where we have a lot of problems with this. Please take the opportunity to say, Scott put this in here. I want you guys to know that he has this rule. I don't care how you deliver it, but people need to know that we have this rule, because eventually somebody's going to get burned by this thing, and I really don't want it to happen. Last but not least, our contest runs through June 30th. We'll be sending out now weekly updates to our contest as to the agent that is that's ahead for the $500 and the office that's ahead for winning overall. I think that's everything that we have in my slides. Call to action is the letter. Sorry. So here's what we want everybody to do. We want everybody to take that letter, which you can get on the dashboard. So right from the dashboard, they can go customize that letter, put it into an email, and send it out to all of their SOI. They don't even have, there's very, very, very little to do to put it into an email and get it out to, to a ton of their SOI. These are the steps to do it. Please offer within your office and with your office staff to help any agent that wants to do this. And if any agent wants to mail it, which is what we recommend, please offer to help them to get that done as well. That's it, guys.